Good morning, everyone. Dr. Frankie here. How's it going? It's Thursday, and I'm going to cover another topic. Um, but I want to say it is spring and beautiful and sunny. It's early right now, so you're not seeing the sunshine so much, but it's been beautiful, and that always makes me really happy. So I hope wherever you are in the world that there is sun shining and for those of you that have been subscribing to my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate it. And for those of you that are new to me, I'm a clinical psychologist, board certified sex therapist, and a matchmaker. I've been matchmaking for professionally for 16 years, nearly 16 years. And just naturally on my own, before I even knew what the word matchmaker meant, I've been matchmaking since I was a teen. So it's my passion. I love bringing amazing people together. And I also love human behavior and helping people acquire really helpful tools and skills to live healthier, happier, fuller lives. And that's what I'm here to do. So I'm here to share information that I learn in all the classes and years of schooling, and mostly actually by working in being in the work with clients, learning from them directly. So, and that's been over 2 decades. So I'm thrilled to be here to share all my knowledge, my wisdom with you, and hopefully you find it to be helpful. Please subscribe if you're interested in getting my weekly video, Ask Dr. Frankie, that I put out every Thursday. I also have a podcast called Love, Laughs, and Lessons that I co-host with Denise Ray, who's fantastic. She's also a professional matchmaker who works on my team at Little Gay Book. And she is also a coach and full of wisdom. She's amazing. So please click the bell below and select all notifications, and then you will be notified right when we post our latest videos. And if you think you know somebody, a friend, a family member that might benefit from anything that we put out there, please share and comment. I like to respond to comments. So if there's anything that you are thinking about related to the topic or something that we haven't covered, I would love to hear from you. And let's just jump into my talk for the day. Navigating cultural differences in dating. This is an important one, but then again, I say that about everything that I cover because I feel like it's all really, really, really important. Hundreds of years ago, most of us would have found our romantic partners in the small, insular communities we grew up in. Most of our partners, our life partners, would be people. Can I even talk? Oh my gosh, this morning, be people we grew up with, or at least shared almost all key facets of life with. Today, modern dating with generations of migration and the internet means that our romantic partner could be almost anyone else on earth, which means many of us are in relationships with people who grew up in wildly different cultural contexts. Navigating cultural differences in a relationship can be both enriching and challenging, requiring couples to cultivate understanding and empathy. By listening, learning, and focusing on mutual respect rather than being right, couples can foster greater harmony and connection in their partnerships, regardless of cultural backgrounds. And I'm going to tell you how. Take stock of your own cultural values and differences. And also practices, actually, if you're experiencing conflict or friction in your relationship around cultural differences, it may feel obvious that your partner is the one who's wrong or needs to evolve, because after all, they're the one who has all the cultural baggage. Especially if you grew up in a dominant American culture or the most common one in your area. It's easy to forget that you too have a unique, subjective culture and one that is not universal, even if it might feel it is. Often when conflicts arise, it's easy to point fingers at the partner whose cultural practices seem different or unfamiliar to yours. Of course, this isn't true. Everyone on earth has a culture and a cultural background, and none are objectively right or more neutral than the others. The one we grew up with just feels like it is. It is essential to recognize that both partners bring unique cultural baggage to the relationship. And this could be an ethnic culture like white American Protestants in the Midwest, or another constellation of cultural identities, academic or professional role, religious affiliation, or political ideology. To help begin conversations about cultural differences from a more even footing, take some time to take stock of your own cultural values and the impressions they left on you. Think of your partner's perspective, if that helps. What are the most important aspects of shared life or relationships in the home and community you grew up in? Quality time, avoiding conflict, consensus building, gift giving, sharing domestic tasks. What are major faux pas or transgressions? Being too curt, failing to consider everyone's needs, being an ungrateful guest. Are all of these values objectively determined? Can you see why someone from outside the culture you grew up in might not find them logical or desirable? Are there aspects of your culture that you yourself find frustrating from time to time? Try to remember and maintain this attitude of perspective taking and open-mindedness in any discussion in a cross-cultural relationship. Listen and learn to understand the why. If you're feeling frustrated and disconnected from your partner around any area of cultural difference, our instinct can be to explain and justify. We want our partner to understand where we're coming from and why they need to think about the situation differently. In most cases, our best bet is to move in the opposite direction of this instinct. When we're feeling on opposite sides of a gulf from our partner and like we badly need them to really understand us, it's often a sign that we instead need to understand the other person. When engaging in conversations about cultural differences, strive to listen and learn from your partner's perspective. Instead of focusing solely on justifying your own viewpoint, take the time to understand the why behind your partner's beliefs and practices. Ask open-ended questions and approach a discussion with a genuine curiosity to gain insight into your partner's cultural values. Even if the issue in question feels meaningless or nonsensical to you, it likely has some substantial meaning within the culture it originates from. For instance, people from ask cultures are frequently frustrated by the indirect communication strategies preferred by people from guest cultures. And while it's perfectly fine to feel frustrated by that, understanding that guest cultures' behaviors signify valuing social harmony may give enough context to help you work with the cultural value rather than against it. Next, focus on getting both your needs met, not being right. Disagreements around cultural differences often cause us to react strongly. It makes sense, as culture is tied to our sense of self and where we came from. Even if we don't think of ourselves as identifying strongly with our background or our culture, we may be surprised to find how attacked we feel if cultural differences have become an issue in our romantic relationships. This is completely normal, and at the same time, it's crucial that we avoid knee-jerk defensiveness. When cultural differences come up, the goal isn't to win or to prove that the way we do things is correct, actually. The goal is for you and your partner to find a solution to the current conflict that works and to stay on the same team with each other as you do so. It's crucial to shift the focus from being right to finding common ground and meeting each other's needs. Disagreements stemming from cultural differences can trigger strong emotional reactions, but it's essential to remember that the goal is not to win the argument. Instead, prioritize maintaining a sense of connection and understanding with your partner. Your shared opponent is disconnect and misunderstanding, not each other. It doesn't matter if your partner doesn't come around to your way of thinking right now, or maybe ever, as long as you can come to a place of functional cooperation around the problem facing you right now. And remember, defensiveness. It's so easy for us to get defensive, and that's one of the 4 horsemen that John Gottman, and I talk about it a lot. One thing we need to avoid in relationships. So be curious, try to get the answers to the why, and remember, you're not trying to win. In fights, arguments, which are very normal, it's healthy to argue, to fight even, and just focus on the fact that you're trying to better understand one another and come to a solution, a better understanding. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope to see you all next week. Kisses, hugs, take good care.